Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Oh my. Hey, we're going to get through this rather quickly because I am really upset. So, our Philippine journey, Mike and Arlen, and quite frankly, we have got to get some information out there. I don't usually do this, and I'm not going to name any names. I'm not a drama person, but we're going to go forward. Look, recently I saw a video from a guy who's here, and he is going on about freelancers and how you can save money by seeing a freelancer, how you can find freelancers, where to find freelancers, what their rates generally are, etc. Okay, fine. I have no problems with that. Really and truly, I don't. I don't have any problem with freelancers. People are trying to make a living and shit just happens. And if that's the economic situation that they're in, well, it is. That doesn't mean that you need to fall in there. And I'm going to tell you why you need to stay away from that. All right? And we're going to do this as quickly and as concisely as we can. First off, this guy, this fucking moron, all right? This guy that thinks with his little head is telling people in his vlog in YouTube that the age of consent is 16 in the Philippines. That's not really true, especially when these blogs are. This blogger speaks English. The blog is in English. The vast majority of his audience is not from the Philippines. The age of consent in the Philippines is 16 for Filipinos, not for foreigners. If you're 18 years old or older and you get caught with a 16-year-old girl and you are not a Filipino, you're going to jail. And the odds are you're in for a tragic experience when you go to a Filipino jail. I don't need to tell you how serious Filipino jails are. They are not, they just are not for general consumption. That's the best word I can use. You want to mess with a freelancer? Go right ahead. I hope you go to jail. There are two separate things here. First off, you have to be. There's also a age bracket as well. There has to be like 3 years. Like can a 19-year-old Filipino have sex with a 16-year-old? It's a gray area there. Either way, doesn't really matter. For those of you that are watching this blog, most of you are English speaking. Most of you are not Filipino citizens, not residents, but citizens. Just because you got an ACR card doesn't make you a citizen of the Philippines. It makes you a resident. You go to jail. Problem number two with these freelancers, these underage freelancers. You're going to get this girl past the guard who's supposed to check that kind of stuff, but really doesn't do much of that anymore. Okay? You're going to get her past the guard. You're going to get her up to your room. You're going to get into a compromising situation, and then there's going to be some beating on that door. And all of a sudden, her older brother or her father or the police, a policeman, is going to be at that door. Anything of any value you have just became subject to a scam because you got set up. That is a documented scam that has happened in the past. Keep in mind, this isn't like the US where you get a driver's license when you're 16 years old or a state ID. ID cards here are a dime a dozen, and I don't think that you should put it within your scope of professional sense that you know what is a good, valid, honest ID. Don't rely on the fact that the guard let her go upstairs because he could be in trouble too, or he could be in on the scam as well. All right? No big deal. Whether you want to put a differentiation between bar girls working in the bar industry and the regulated bars and freelancers is up to you. But the government, the local government unit, the LGU, all right, of Angeles and in Manila, all right, they certainly do. If you work as what used to be called GROs, or guest relation officers, officials, all right, you were licensed. Well, you still are. Every hostess, every bar girl, every entertainer, every door girl, every door, they're all registered and licensed. Okay? All of their data is on file. Freelancers are not. Now, one of the good things about that is, for those of you that I don't know, partake of that, one of those things is simply the fact that the bars get checked. Okay? And we've seen bars get in trouble from a fake ID getting past them. Believe me, they would much rather not hire these underage girls than get caught. All right? They don't want that. They really don't. There are enough 18, 19, 20-year-old girls out there that hiring a 16-year-old is not going to make you any richer. So they don't like it to happen, but that shows you how easy it can be, or that shows you that it is possible to get these IDs to get people passed. So, number one, okay, as we spoke, the age of consent is not 16 in the Philippines for any of you foreigners. All right? Any of us foreigners. Don't listen to these people. This misinformation is going to get you in jail. Item number two, oftentimes, not oftentimes, but sometimes, that whole thing is a setup. It's a setup for a scam, and everything of any value that you have in that room, you just lost, because that's what it's going to cost you for these people not to haul your ass to station number 4. Item number 3, it's not a scam. She is underage. You're going to jail. That's all there is to it. Okay? But let's go into 2 other items. Let's say that you are fortunate enough. I hate to use that word. I really do. Fortunate. It's not an issue of fortune. Okay? Let's just say that some chance rolls around, you end up in your room with an underage girl. And everything goes fine. She's a freelancer. And it doesn't go fine. It's not fortunate and it's not fine. You transact your business. Okay. Do you happen to know that every girl that's a bar girl, they get health checks? That means they get STD checks. Now, they don't get AIDS tests, all right? They don't run blood, okay? But they do look at urine samples if something looks amiss, and they do swab. Freelancers do not. But let's go even further. The only reason that I bring this up is because it just so happened that today we happened to, Arlen and I went down and actually got a bite to eat down on Walking Street during lunch, and then turned around and went and got a banana split, which I shouldn't be eating, but I did. But one of the things that was really interesting was I had an opportunity to speak to a very interesting person. Outside of Carousel, there at the entrance to Walking Street, they had a mobile x-ray unit, part of the Clark Development Diagnostic Laboratory Company. I don't know whether it's really affiliated with Clark Development or just because that's where its office is, but either way, it's a mobile diagnostic lab. Now, they do a multitude of examinations. One of those examinations just happens to be x-rays. I don't know whether you realize this. And if you don't listen to any other part of the blog, just listen to this one section. Most of your freelancers are from the province, or they're from out of town. They're from smaller towns. Okay. They get health screening, and part of health screening, part of the requirements from the bars, is that they have an initial chest x-ray for tuberculosis and an annual chest x-ray for tuberculosis, which is why if you're going to Walking Street over the next week or two, or have you been for the past week, you'll have seen the mobile x-ray unit down there. And they are literally scheduled with each and every bar. I actually spoke with those people, and I had an opportunity to talk to them this afternoon. Today they were doing Carousel and Club Sky and somewhere else. Tomorrow they're going to be doing Avalon. This evening they're going to go do the Las Vegas Club. Okay. All of these girls have to get their annual tuberculosis screening. That doesn't really mean that much to you. I mean, if you're from you know, I don't know, Pensacola, Florida, or Mobile, Alabama, tuberculosis is not a big deal. From the United States, tuberculosis, while it's a big deal, it's not a huge infectious disease concern. It's not prevalent. The Philippines has the fourth highest case rate per capita in the world. Not Asia, not Southeast Asia, in the world of tuberculosis. And the problem is most of these girls, they come from province, smaller cities, outside the major metropolitan areas. Many of these girls, they've never even had a chest x-ray, much less gone to the gynecologist. All right? Although I think it's more prevalent that they have at least gone to the gynecologist before they come up here and work as a freelancer. I don't know. But what I do know is because of, and you can Google the numbers, you hop on there right now and Google the numbers, fourth highest rate of TB in the world. And none of these freelancers, unless they did work for a bar and then quit, have had a chest x-ray in the past year clearing them of that. None of them. I mean, tuberculosis is considered an epidemic level. in the Philippines. All right. You're gonna to save $20, you're willing to do that? Are you kidding me? How much of a moron are you? So let's just get this all back, because I just wanted to make this a really quick, easy blog. Number one, the age of consent is not 16. Quit fucking believing everything you read and hear on the internet. Even my shit can have mistakes, but that's not a mistake. That's a significant error. Okay? That's not even an error. That's just misinformation. Number two, freelancers aren't licensed, so therefore, they don't get tested for STDs or STIs. Period. Number three, freelancers have been known to use underage girls to set guys up into scams to rip them off. And I mean, you know, all you got to do is look it up. Finally, freelancers don't get annual or initial tuberculosis screening. So you're in the world you're in the country with the fourth highest tuberculosis rate in the world. And you're messing around where at least 60% of the freelancers come from small rural areas. And the incidence rate per capita in the small rural areas is very high of TB. I can tell you right now, without having ever seen, examined, or looked at the chart of two different people in Arlen's province, distant family members, okay, that listening to Uncle so-and-so passed away last week. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. What happened? He just started coughing up blood, went to the hospital, and then he died. 75% chance that it was tuberculosis. Now, there's also a 25% chance, it was very high percentage chance it was tuberculosis, another percentage chance that it was a bleeding ulcer for, cirrhosis of the liver as well. So either way, my point is you're messing around with people who are literally the most dangerous people you can mess around with. So be careful when you listen to these blogs. Go back and look at it. Go back and Google the information. Go look deeper. If you Google the age of consent in the Philippines, it'll come up as 16 years old, that it just recently got changed from 16 years old. If you read it, it's 16 years old for Filipino citizens. They have specific amendments to that for foreigners. And then there's this age gap thing in there as well, but I'm not even going to get into it because it's irrelevant here. You shouldn't be boning a 16-year-old girl. You're going to go to jail. You could end up in jail. And if you end up in jail, you could end up dead. End of story. That's all there is to it. Quit listening to the misinformation and the bullshit and everything else. Listen to and be aware of everything. Freelancers, I don't have anything against them whatsoever. Let them freelance. If I had cancer and I was dying of cancer and, I was broke, well, I guess I'd want to save some money. But if I'm spending my hard-earned money to be on vacation out of my country, or I'm retiring here and I want to live a nice, long, peaceful life, why would I want to take that chance? All of that being said, yeah, it is true. There are those girls that are good girls. Yeah. You want to take that chance? Do you really want to take that chance? Come on. Be serious. Some things are just not worth it. And that's one of them. If you found this informative, if you found it, you know what? Before I even say that, next week I'm actually going to have another blog with an interview with one of the girls from Walking Street. If you found this blog informative, subscribe. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, tell me why. Tell me what you think is wrong with it. I mean, we could sit there and say, you know what? We just need to let the gene pool dwindle down. Let the stupid people do what they want, and we'll erase those stupid genes. We'll get rid of them. Okay, fine. Sometimes I feel that way myself. But you don't need to make a mistake. And don't listen to the bullshit that some of these people put out who claim to know stuff and don't. When they start talking about the law, then you need to start digging deep. Figure it out. I'm not even going to go into the morals. It's not my place to go into the morals. But I wouldn't. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.